All right, welcome to today's episode of Made by You podcast. I'm your host, Deni, and today I have a special guest with me. In today's episode, we'll be talking about making friends at Mars. Definitely a super hot topic for everyone who is starting or about to start their career and wonder if they can get along with their colleagues. But actually, something more than get along with them, actually, if they'll be able to make friends in the workplace. So, my guest today has a lot of experience of traveling, moving locations with Mars, creating meaningful friendships wherever she goes. So, I'm sure that she'll be able to share with us some tips. And without any further ado, I just really want to introduce you to Joana. So, Joana is from Portugal, but currently she is actually based in hot and nice Barcelona. She's working for our regional team as a dCom capability and execution manager. Super long title. Thankfully, I have managed to memorize it. And she recently just came back to actually Spain after spending a year in our unit in Brussels. And one fun fact about Joanna is that she actually has Chinese roots, right? Um,
Yes,
but
yes, yes.
but you don't know any Chinese, as far as I'm aware, unless you have decided to pick it up.
Unfortunately, no. No, thanks, Deni, for the amazing intro. I'm really happy to be here today with you. And yes, indeed, I have a bit of a Chinese ancestry from my dad's side. But yeah, unfortunately, no Chinese. No words, unfortunately for me. I will have to learn it. I will take it as my development point for the next years.
I was wondering if you have managed to pick up some, but still no. Okay.
No, 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 nothing. Zero.
Right, and I'm super happy to have you as well on this in this episode. And before we kick off with the serious questions, I wanted to start with a bit of a icebreaker game. So I have to ask you a few questions about yourself, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Okay. So my first question to you would be actually, if you can live on sweets for the rest of your life, would you rather have that or to never actually eat any sweets ever again?
So let me see if I got the question right. I just eat sweets only for the rest of my life, or I don't have any anymore?
Exactly.
Oh, that's a really tough one. Um, I would say I'm more of a savory kind of person.
Good
So
save.
say I would say no sweets anymore, which would be really, really sad world to live in, but at least I think I would prefer to leave off just savory stuff. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. I
Which I don't
guess
think helps a lot my case for Mars. Well, we do have food, but well,
exactly. You can always live on Ben's original, or
exactly.
I
True.
mean, our doc portfolio is also great. So
I could try that for sure. Don't think I would be a big fan, but well, never say never.
exactly. And I was also wondering, since you have seen quite a lot of different offices of Mars, which one is your favorite?
Oh, also a difficult one. But you know what? I really like the Barcelona office for its location, but I do enjoy it a lot the Brussels one because it is a bit bigger in the sense that it's all in one floor. It has a canteen. You can take a little walk, not too close, not too far away. There's kind of a track that you can walk through. So I think all in all, I would prefer to have Belgium office in Barcelona if that was possible in Barcelona's location. So yeah,
Mm,
that would be a good mix,
I
definitely.
understand.
But they were both great. So all the offices I've been to are actually great. So and I'm not being
Yeah.
paid to say this.
And as far as I remember, you used to have a massive M&M's machine, or like a M&M's assortment in the
Yes,
Brussels office.
in
So
Brussels we do. We have the color walls, which are really really great. Well, I mean, we have them in some of stores, and we have one as well in the office. So that's a big plus. That's a big plus.
yeah, definitely agree. But you have all the ice cream in Barcelona, so here we go. You have to pick your battles.
Also, ice cream in Belgium actually. So
Ah, okay. Also
No, I
in
think
Copenhagen, I can confirm despite
goodies
the weather.
wise, I think all the offices are quite well furnished. Let's put it this way.
Fair enough. Okay, then. Well, now on to the more serious questions. I
Mm,
suggest we have a spin of the wheel and let's see which questions you get for today.
okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, we have our first question. Actually, it's a great question to start our conversation with, and it's how do you turn an associate into a friend? So please tell us a little bit more about this in your experience.
Hmm. Okay, so I think first of all, it's not like you go on and say, okay, this person, I want this person to be my friend. I think this comes naturally from the relationships that you kind of forge as you work with people. And I think what's really cool about Mars in general, people are really like you instantly have a connection with them, I think, somehow, because we really, I think all of us have something that makes us kind of similar in a way, even though we are all very different from each other, no matter where we are in the world. Um, and I think that helps a lot. I think everybody's really friendly and really approachable and always available to help in anything that you need. But I think what really makes it, or what brings kind of a coworker relationship to the next level of being actually friends is how open we are all to about our lives, what we do, what we really are as people and not just as employees. So I think that's what's really, really cool. And of course, I think the most important thing to really become friends with someone is that you share about your lives and you really have that openness like I was talking about. So, and yeah, I think that's what's most important, to not feel like you have to separate who you are as a person from who you are at work. um,
Mm,
and then naturally, I think these kind of relationships come together because you naturally spend a lot of time with people that you work with, and yeah, and you can forge really, really nice connections that turn into friendships. So I think
okay.
there's not really like a secret, but just I think it comes naturally from the way that we are and work together in Mars. And yeah, you do have to be willing to open up to other people. So yeah.
So I think it's also what you're saying. It's very important that you break these kind of boundaries and you allow yourself to be more vulnerable. And as you said, I really like how you put it of not really separating your professional and personal life, but being able to share more with people. I guess that's one of the the key ways or secrets to make friends in the workplace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
show some vulnerability, making sure that people see you as people and not like
Hmm.
someone who is doing a job.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's really important.
Okay, and then speaking about this, I was also wondering if you've ever had anyone from your colleagues that became your friend and then went really above and beyond for you, or really made a great gesture, really supported you in your journey, and what exactly happened? Can you
Hmm.
tell us more about this?
Yes, I mean, I feel like I'm really lucky to have made already in the 2 years that I've joined Mars, made a lot of really good friends. Even though that, like you said, I was moving from one place to the other. But I think, yeah, today with technologies and working remotely, we do get an option or opportunity to still keep connected and still keep working with the people, even we're not um, physically close to them. I would say yourself actually, because I think we became really, really good friends. Is that allowed? Or does it sound like I'm
You're
sucking up
also
to you?
not paid for that.
I'm not paid for that. But truly, like, I would say I think we had a really, really great year together in Barcelona, and we've been through very good moments and some difficult moments as well. I think it's all part of the process, and I think we were really there for each other. I don't think there was one specific moment that I can remember, but I mean, several moments where I think we really stood up for each other. Like if there was one day that, I don't know, I needed something, you would really support me on that, and or if you needed something, I would really support you on that. And I think we even we traveled together, so that was really great as well. So I think during the year that we spent there in Barcelona, it was super super nice to still kind of be together on this journey and to have those moments. So I would say yourself.
I did not. I honestly, for everyone who is listening, I did not had this on a scenario or anything like this. But I'm super happy, obviously,
There's no
to.
script.
There's no script behind this, but I'm super happy to hear this, and I totally resonate and relate with this what you're saying, because I think when you were speaking also about breaking this boundary of really
Mhm.
separating your personal and professional life, I think we've managed to do this quite early on in our connection
Mhm.
as well,
Yes.
even though we've been also working alongside each other. So I think that allow us to really get closer to each other, and then the rest is a history.
Yes.
Traveling, connecting, and keep on doing this. So
Yeah, and we managed to continue to do that even
yeah,
after we moved to different countries, and we still
yeah,
managed to see each other. So that was great. I visited you
yeah,
in Prague, so that was super super fun.
yeah.
Oh no, sorry, I visited you in Vienna. Sorry, I was
But we
mixing
went to
up.
Prague.
But
That's
we went to
correct.
Prague together, exactly.
Yeah.
So we did both things. So that was super super nice.
Super. And for those of the people who are listening and wondering like what kind of advice can you give them to making this work? I think you said a few things like
Hmm.
really great things about being more vulnerable and open. But when people are just joining the company, maybe it's a bit
Hmm.
hard to get to that point. So
Yeah.
what would you say would be your tips for that?
I think the main tips are don't feel like you are burdening other people by talking to them or reaching out for help, because 99% of the time other people are more than happy to help you on things, and they're actually really happy that you reached out to them. Um, and don't be shy, I would say. Because honestly, I don't think, of course it's easier for some people than others, but if you are naturally more introvert or you're not as comfortable talking to people you don't really know, really try to push yourself out of that comfort zone, because I think that's where you would get to meet all the people, or most of the people that you normally do. um, and yeah, just put yourself out there, try to find common ground with people, like common interests, talk about work but also beyond work. Make sure that, every call, if it's the first time that you're meeting the new person, every call or every meeting that you're connecting with someone, make sure that there is a moment for properly kind of introduction, because in those like 5 minutes that you think you might not talk about business, it's actually where you're getting to know the person, and you might find common things and things you can bond over for the future.
Mhm.
And I think that also facilitates a lot the
Yeah.
work relationship. So
Yeah.
putting into three things, I would say, or two things even, just kind of, if you're in doubt, should I speak to this person or not, do. And the second is really push yourself to make time to speak
Mhm.
about other things other than work when you're connecting
Yeah.
with someone.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you've mentioned a few times like find common activities or do
Hmm.
something outside of work. And I was wondering if you had any activities that you've been doing with either your colleagues from Spain or
Hmm.
from Brussels, or maybe now in the regional team. So is there anything that really connects you and you're doing outside of work?
I think sports is always a good way to bond over
Mhm.
with people. Like if you like to play, I don't know, paddle. It's super trending here in Barcelona, so a lot of people play it. I've actually played it a few times. I'm not a great athlete, but I think it's a very social one, and a lot of people are doing it. So I would say if there's like a company team of any kind of sport, or if there's like any kind of group RGs, the groups that we have on common interests, that's also a great way to meet other
Yeah.
people that probably, if you're not in their team, or um, you're not working directly with that person, you wouldn't maybe go to that. Doing MVP, so doing all the volunteering projects and works that we have that are organized, it's also a good way to get to know other people inside the company. and just participating in this kind of events that we are lucky enough that Mars organizes, like the afterworks, the parties, the all associates days. I think, and really, I think another cool way to get to know other people is if there is a call out for volunteers for any sort of thing to organize
Yeah.
things within the company, I would raise my hand and go for that, because that's also a great way to not only meet people but also to be involved in the social activities of what's happening within the company. So I
Yeah.
think that's also another way to do that.
Yeah, that's great tips. And actually, at Mars, we have so many volunteering projects that are
Hmm.
ongoing constantly. So there's plenty of opportunities for people to get involved with whatever they're interested in. I think there's so many around sustainability, so much about inclusivity and diversity and equity. So there's so much going on. So I
Hmm.
think everyone can find probably their group of people and start making connections there.
Yep,
Yeah.
indeed.
Hello and welcome to the Made by You podcast brought to you by Mars. In this series, we'll talk about all the things related to Mars early careers, from advice and top tips to milestones and some surprising stories. So, if you're looking to grasp your future with both hands and make products that the world loves, search for a role at careers.mars.com. Yeah, super. Okay, then let's spin the wheel one more time to see what kind of a question you'll get this time.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a question for our pet-friendly offices,
Hmm.
and the question is whether the animals really help people to connect and to make friends in the office. And I know you have seen so many colleagues, especially in the Barcelona office, bringing their
Hmm.
pet at work. So, in your view, do you think that really helps making friends?
I would say so, 100%. In Barcelona, a lot of people do have dogs, and in Belgium, it was also the case. So I think it really, really helps to. I mean, I love dogs. I'm a dog lover. So every time there's a dog in the office, I'll just go and pet it. And I think it really helps. For example, in Barcelona now, we have a small dog, sausage dog. He's the
Yeah,
cutest ever, and he's been adopted by the office actually. Like Carlos is he's the owner officially, but he brings him every day, and everybody knows him, and everybody can like offers themselves to go for walks with him, and just take care of it when Carlos is on meetings or something. So I think that really really helps to get to know the owner as well, to break the ice sometimes. I know that, for example, our GM has a small poodle and he's the
yeah,
cutest. So, I mean, that's always, cool to see that, even people that are in higher management have their own dogs and they're also having the same um,
yeah.
challenges with the dog sometimes, they're not behaving, and they have all this
Absolutely.
authority, and then sometimes they're like struggling to make the dog sit, which is really funny. um but yeah, I would say it's a great way to bond over with people,
Yeah,
because it tells you that there's at least one thing you have in common with them, right? You also love dogs. You're also, I mean, I do have a dog, but it's actually in Portugal, so I don't see him every day.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's always nice to see other people that are also dog lovers or animal lovers in general.
Yeah, I fully agree with you because every time I also see a dog in the office, I cannot resist to run towards it. And I think that
Hmm.
that creates so much ground for really connecting with people and also sharing some tips, perhaps
Hmm.
about your pet at home, or especially if you really miss that pet, because mine is also back home, so I fully fully
Yeah.
understand the struggle.
So since you cannot pet yours, you pet others. So
Exactly.
that's a good way to make the missing out less. painful, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more interesting thing is that actually I was reflecting a bit on the time that you've joined the company, and all of these also moving countries, connecting with people virtually, and that made me a bit reflect and ask you actually if you think that this in these days this online connection differs really from making friends in real life, and how do people that maybe thinking of applying for Mars and knowing how much of a mobility this company has would be dealing with that type of connections through the screen?
Hmm. Um, I would say it's always nicer to meet face to face because you might get to know really well the person in through the screen, but it's always nicer if you get to see the person in real, like for real in front of you. But if that's not possible, I don't think it doesn't make it impossible to create true connections because I've seen it for myself. So all the MLEs that joined on my year, we used to have a weekly connection every week, every Friday, we used to connect, and we only got to see each other like a few months later in real life, but we felt like we already knew each other because we had been speaking every week for the past,
Yeah.
I don't know, 3 or 4 months. So yes, I mean it's completely possible. And like I said before, new technologies really allow you to develop that and to have access to that. So that's really great. Um, and it's really kind of up to you. I would say together. So having the possibility to connect more often on through the screen, and then having the chance to then see the people in real life, that's I think the best combination, in the case that you cannot really physically work together every day, which is mostly the case nowadays. I mean, today I am working remotely to with a team that it's spread across Europe. So um, yeah, I mean, in the end, and Europe and Africa actually. So in the end, I mean, I am now connecting with them for the first time. I'm forging these relationships, and hopefully we'll get to meet each other at some point in real life. But um, that's not like a blocker to establish connections, I would say, and to create meaningful relationships as well.
I think you put it super well, because I don't also think that this should be a barrier, and I think especially in Mars it's quite easy to reach out to different people,
Hmm.
being in different countries, different continents even. Of course, always better to meet them in person, but nevertheless, as you said, like it's so nice to be able to connect on a weekly basis and get to know these people even through the screen, and perhaps one day meet them as well.
Hmm. Indeed.
Yeah. And I would just want to really like kind of wrap up this episode with a bit more insight into your journey so far at Mars, and to really ask you if you feel like you have made some really really good friends, obviously apart from me, as we have already learned at Mars, and do you think that they would be really lasting for a very long time in your life,
Hmm.
or do you really separate this until you're sort of at work, and then outside you also have a different friends group?
No, I would definitely say and hope that you included, of course, the people that I've met over the last 2 years, the ones that I've gotten really close with. I will probably and hopefully continue to have and consider as my friends for a really long time. Um, Especially because I think we all shared like really intense, beautiful moments. And I think that's what really makes the bond even stronger. Doesn't mean that you will speak with the person every day or like every week, but it's those kind of friendships that that if you need something from the person, she or he will be there. So I think yes, 100%. And I'm thinking about the people that I've met on the program, but also people that I've worked with on the local units, like in Spain and in Belgium as well. I'm pretty sure that we will remain good friends. And actually, I already had some people that in those short period that I've been back in Spain have visited, and I will as well go again to Belgium. And of course, the people that I'm re-encountering now after being 1 year abroad, they've welcomed me with really open arms back to the office, which really made the transition. really, really smooth, like as if 1 year didn't pass at all. So I
Yeah.
think it really just goes to show that um, we have a good connection, and we've set the foundations to what it's, I think, going to be really long lasting friendships. So yeah, I would say so for sure.
Amazing. Well, I'm sure, and at the same time, like it's so great everything that you've shared today, and all of the tips that you have also given. I think it leaves everyone who is listening with a really good impression that there are plenty of opportunities to meet people in real life or virtually. There's plenty of options to connect with people through all the activities that you can do at Mars, and you can put yourself out there. As you said, just if you want to connect with someone, just do it. And I think that's super great way of putting it. And then at the same time, like that, some of these people perhaps will be lifelong friends. So that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yes, yes, indeed. Well, thank you so much, Deni.
Super, Joe.
It's been a
Thank you for
blast.
this. It's been great to hear your perspective and your top tips on friendships, and advertising myself as well in your,
Be
in
friends
your
with Deni. She's a good friend.
that better be recorded. Okay. Thank you so much, and I think with that we can wrap up this episode and stay tuned for everything that is upcoming as well and many more topics to discuss.